but they went on for 16 years on television saying, "Hi, Mom, hi, Dad, I'm going to the Emporium," whatever the hell that was. You know? Anyway, but it was fun with Rick. Nice guy. Actually, his first date with his first wife, Chris, was at our house. They came up to see a movie, The Old House, and she was 12. Anyway, this is a horrible picture of me, and the reason it is because John Wayne, who was also a friend, this is his house, and about an hour or so before this picture was taken, Duke said, "What do you think? We ought to have a little commemorativo. That's a tequila." And I said, "Sure, Duke." And so this is after a bottle of tequila.
All right, hey you guys, I'm Audra Morgan. I had the storm here still at the South County, San Diego Superior Court, whatever, division. It's South Bay, where I came to earlier this morning. And I have Erin Callahan here with me, and she has been, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, she has been fighting the family court system for roughly 4 yees, trying to change orders and different things, and that's why we were here today, as she was attempting to, well, I'll have you say that, but it's been a long struggle and journey, and so I just wanted to share her story. So she actually invited me here today, and I came and I wanted to participate, and it was very interesting to see how these hearings take place and how the judge proceeds with each different individual case that he sees. So it was interesting to witness that today. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but why don't you tell us, I don't know if you want to get into your story a little bit, what brought you here, and then we can talk about why we were here today.
Yeah, so I'm basically here today because almost 4 years ago, February 1st, 2023, I lost custody of my daughter after reporting abuse lawfully. So that distinction matters. I lawfully reported abuse to authorities. An investigation was launched. I waited 12 hours to inform the father, and that angered him, and basically he took me to court. A lot of allegations were made that were not true. I didn't even have an attorney at the time because I didn't think that there was any way that a court could take a loving, safe, protective mother away from her child without some kind of finding of harm and without the backing of Child Protective Services, who deemed me safe and protective and all of that. So it was very shocking to me on that day that I went to represent myself, thinking that there was no way, and lo and behold, the court, listens to the allegations, and in the best interest of the child, they thought that it was better to completely separate her from her mother and her siblings during a time of investigation, an open, active investigation. That investigation went on for 4 months. It was finally closed out as unfounded, but I still never got custody back. And through all this time, I've just been petitioning the court for some kind of relief. I've been asking for evidentiary hearings. I've been asking for witness testimony. I've been asking for so many things to please clarify how withholding information from 12 hours after I've already reported it to all authorities constitutes a risk to my child. And can you please connect the dots there, because I don't understand. And it's now, standing here today, it's been nearly 4 years, and I'm still on supervised visitation. The amount of supervised visitation that the court has ordered me would cost thousands for me to do that every single month. I can only exercise about a fraction of it because that's all I can afford, on top of the other fees that I have to pay for every month that the court has ordered, such as individual therapy, conjoint reunification therapy, and child support that gets garnished out of my paycheck. So there's no way, and I know this is not a story that is just applied to me. There are many parents that I have connected with since having my child removed and being placed on supervised visitation that are going through the same thing in many other states, but particularly plenty here in California. And some of these mothers, surprisingly, are professionals. I'm a professional. I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm in the military as a commander. I've never committed a crime. I've never abused a child, but yet here I am, you know, without my daughter. I've talked to other therapists who have had their kids removed. I've talked to a mom who's a pharmacist, her child was removed. And the running theme on a lot of these removals is that they went through a divorce or some kind of a separation from somebody who's a narcissist. And these people don't like to lose. And I was threatened high and low so many times if I ever left the relationship that he would do everything in his power to sink me and to ruin me. Those are his exact words. And that he would take our daughter and I would never see her again. I thought they were empty threats at the time, but now it seems like all of those threats came to fruition. But even so, the family court, I'm learning, is a very different court from civil court, from criminal court. There's supposed to be a level of checks and balances in the government, and I don't see that happening a lot in family court. I'm starting to come out with my story after talking to all these parents because I think it's important to raise awareness of where they're falling short in family court and where they're falling short on due process. Due process is essential to justice. And if people are coming forward and they're making detrimental decisions to a family and to a child based off of allegations, that should not be allowed. It should be based off of clear and convincing evidence. It should be based off of actual evidence. People should have a right to call witnesses. People should have a right to have live testimony. And those kind of things are frequently denied in family courts. And it's unfortunate because I've also been in probate court and I've also been in civil court, and I was treated a totally different way in those courts. They actually looked at evidence, they read reports. Family court is something else here, but it affects such a huge part of the population. And California specifically, with a lack of court reporters, that's unacceptable. If our only remedy is an appellate remedy, and the appellate courts don't even take your case if you don't have a transcript of the recording, that's a problem. We should have that. It should be a bare minimum that all of these hearings are reported and that we have access to those transcripts. And what we're hearing now is that court reporters, there's a shortage, they're not available, and so self-represented litigants are at a loss. We have to hire our own to the tune of sometimes $1,000 a day. And that would leave a lot of low income and vulnerable people, you know, especially domestic violence victims and things like that. That puts them in a very dangerous situation. And then again, you don't have a remedy when things go wrong. Mm-hmm. So my decision here today was basically to file a motion to try to get off supervised visits. So many times I've filed motions in this case over the course of 4 years. As you can imagine, any parent who gets their child taken away from them in a wrongful way, who wouldn't fight for their child? Who wouldn't be at this courthouse every single day filing motions to get their kid back? So I did what I could. I filed motions based off of what I thought were meritorious arguments. I consulted professionals. I consulted forensic psychologists, child psychologists. I consulted many people, and that armed me with, you know, the feeling that I'm justified in coming here to file petitions to get my child back. But over the course of doing that, I was found to be a vexatious litigant, which is now a recurring theme that I'm seeing a lot with parents in my position, is that they're getting put on vexatious litigant lists, which makes it even harder to petition the court for any kind of remedy or relief. I have to go through a bunch of extra steps, and it's used to slander me in court. Like even today, I filed a motion. My motion had merit. I had to file permission to even file this motion, and it was approved by the judge of this court, the presiding judge. So I have a right to be here today for my case and for my motion, but opposing counsel immediately leads with, she's a vexatious litigant. Let's just remind everybody she's a vexatious litigant. So it's used to prejudice me, and that shouldn't even brought up. We all know that I'm on that list. I'm trying to get off of it. I filed an appeal, but yet I'm still here fighting for my child, fighting for time with my child, and all of my requests have been completely 100% reasonable. I'm not asking for sole custody. I'm not asking for him to be on supervised visits. I'm asking for time with my daughter, natural, unsupervised time with my child. I think that's a fair request. I think it's a reasonable request. And if the court thinks that I'm some kind of safety risk to my daughter, they need to put it in writing, because withholding information, in my opinion, doesn't cut it. That's not enough. So that's basically the gist of my story. I'm starting to go vocal with it just so that I can help other parents. I'm now at a point where I feel comfortable litigating. I've been doing it enough.
You did great.
I've researched plenty. I've spent a lot of time in the law library. I've learned, even from the appeals that I filed, You get the opinion back, and they go line for line legally why your appeal didn't go through. So I've learned. Now I know how I have to enter each courtroom as if it's going to go to appeal. Each hearing is, I'm pretending like this is going to go to appeal, so I have to argue my facts and my points to the T legally. I'm not trying to go in there and fight emotion and he's a narcissist and he's a coercive controller. Like, I don't say that, because legally you need to fight. You need to fight with the law, because that's the only way you're going to get respected and the only way that you're going to get anywhere with your case. So
but you filed to do the...
Today I initially filed to get off supervised visitation.
Right.
However, as soon as I filed that motion, father starts creating all kinds of emergencies and sideshow circus of all these things. And so it created a lot of reports coming in that now need to be addressed with live testimony. So my intention today was to get an order for live testimony. I had to submit my subpoena. I had to do all the things, and I wasn't sure going in today if I was going to be granted a continuance for an evidentiary hearing for live testimony. But because of my last appellate case, I knew exactly which points I had to hit to make it legally stick, and the judge found that I hit those points correctly. I hired a court reporter, so she was there recording everything that was coming out of everybody's mouth, and I think that helped my case. So I hit the specific 5 points, and you can't argue that. What are you going to say? Like, once you legally fight the law with the law, like, they can't really go against it. I mean, so here we are. I got a small, tiny win today, but I've been in this for 4 years, so I'll take it. So I appreciate you coming out.
Yes.
Sometimes it's good to just have some kind of support there. Like, people 100%. Don't understand unless you're in it, like, what it feels like. It feels like you're on trial for murder or something. Like, that's what I feel like I'm walking into, like, just being prepared for all the slander that's coming against me. I'm just prepared for, all those things. So it helps to have some support. So I appreciate it.
Yes. I mean, thank you for, I look forward to continuing this. So on November 5th, you will be back here at 1:30, so we will continue to cover this story. But I just wanted to say you should be very proud of yourself, because you did a fantastic job. They don't want us to be comfortable in there, and it's like, I mean, as nervous as you were, you couldn't tell. So just know that it's like you walked in there, and the case that you presented was very well articulated, and it was you didn't bring in your emotion, like you're saying, like you're making. I believe that you walked in there believing that there would be an appeal, and that you're making sure you're covering all of your bases. So just understand that's really amazing. Not everybody can do that, and I think that parents get very scared to do it, because it is like, you're a fish out of water,
it's
trying to figure out how to go and play in their sandbox,
right?
And it's very difficult, because they don't want us to know, so that they can, have some attorney come in and just wash you away,
right?
And I just feel like you're doing. Just keep staying the course, and don't, feel like you're not doing the right thing by way of like the way you're speaking or whatever, because as a, somebody who's witnessing that, I'm like, dang, I mean, you could be an attorney, So, and
Sometimes
I think that
feel
you
like
learn that, though. And going through these types of things, they're like educational experiences where take the opportunity to learn, because you're in it. And if you don't, and you stay that fish out of water, it's like you're not going to be able to get anywhere. But you can get in there, and you can actually have a conversation where he's going to take you seriously, because you know what you're talking about.
Right. And that comes from, unfortunately, from the length of time I've been in this and experience it. So
yes.
So I appreciate it.
And so, I mean, is there anything else you'd like to share? Do you want to share with people like how they could follow you?
Yes, I actually
support you?
I would love to have people support on my TikTok handle is Mother Unsilenced. So at Mother Unsilenced, you'll find me there. I also have the same on Facebook and Instagram. Again, since I'm local to Southern California, I really appreciate other parents reaching out to me. We talk frequently and support each other. I'm here to help anybody else that needs help, and we're here to help each other and to make some kind of progress. I've also reached out to senators in California. I've reached out to Senator Susan Rubio's office a couple times, because they write the domestic violence legislation for California. And I will end with, California has some of the best legislation for domestic violence in the entire country, but unfortunately that doesn't trickle down to the courthouses. So there's still more work to be done, and that's why I think the more and more we talk about it and raise awareness, the more and more parents can come together, and we can just ensure that the legislation is followed the way it was intended.
Yeah, amen to that. So
Yeah.
is there, what, I mean, is there outside of that how people could support you? Do you have any kind of donation or I
Not
don't
yet.
know? Okay.
I if I get to the point where they allow a 730 eval or a custody evaluation, that will cost money, and I will at that point come out, but and ask. But right now, no, I'm not at that point yet. So I think just resources. I always tell people, if you want to support, like, send me resources. If you hear a case or see a case or something is new on coercive control, on supervised visits, on vexatious litigation, on family court, anything that you see come down, let's share it with each other. Send it to me, because it can only help us all, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of support I appreciate now.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
and what other like words would you like to leave with a parent that may not be sure how, like, if they want to represent themselves, or just any words that you feel would be
Yeah.
encouraging to somebody listening?
It's terrifying. The first time that you go, it is scary, but you definitely learn as you go. And I really suggest to just research. There's a lot of software out there that you can research how to prepare a case, how to prepare a declaration. You know, look for any obstacles, any issues that you might have to overcome in trial. Have it all printed out. That way, when you get there, all you have to do is just kind of read. And if you need support, there are advocates out there that will come sit with you in a court hearing. They will help you. There's plenty of support out there, but you just have to cross that threshold and just do it. And sometimes I prefer that, because there are a lot of shady attorneys out there that will take your money and will string you along and do nothing for your case. And that angers me so much. So I know that the best advocate for my daughter is myself. So that's what I encourage. So people are free to reach out for me if they have questions or need some encouragement.
So you would encourage them to do that, like, through a DM?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Erin, I'm so glad that I got to participate in this with you today, and I look forward to the next one, just to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And we'll just continue to share your stories so that you can encourage others and just let people know they're not alone. I think that's what people feel like, because they want you to feel isolated, so that it's like, especially when they'll say things like, don't talk about it. And it's like, that's exactly what we need to do, and that's the only way that corruption will stop.
Yeah, I'm very careful about how I talk about my case, and I will put this out there because I've seen a lot of stuff on social media where people share a little bit too much. I think that can be dangerous. I prefer to keep things very, very generic. I don't use names, you know, because that could go against you, and I think you can still get the message out and still support people and still advocate for the cause and raise awareness without getting into the nitty-gritty of names of people and things like that. So be careful, especially when there's children involved. So that would be another piece of advice from me.
Well, wonderful. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and look forward to sharing the rest of this story as it continues to unfold with you guys. So stay tuned for November 5th at 1:30, when we'll be back here to see what happens. And that'll be interesting, because you're going to be talking with the therapist, so that's going to be bringing information that is going to be pertinent and paramount to your daughter's well-being.
Absolutely.
I look forward to seeing what happens there. So yeah, hope everybody has a great rest of your Friday. Stay tuned and stay classy, San Diego. It's never a dull moment. God bless you guys. Take care.
Bye.